Howdy folks, I'm Krabby Catopopulus, cattily calling out crude crustaceans.
I'm Amber.
And here are more crude crustaceans for us to call out, though I don't know what makes them crude. Or rude, for that matter. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Embarrassing My Boyfriend at a Game Release? My boyfriend is a 23-year-old male, and I'm a 21-year-old female, and we went to the midnight drop of a video game at our local game store. I had already pre-ordered and paid for 2 copies of the game, one for me and one for him. We specifically went to the midnight release because there was a free tote bag with each purchase. When we got to the front of the line, we got our 2 copies of the game and our tote bag. As I'm about to leave, my boyfriend kindly asked the guy, could we get a second tote bag since we got 2 copies of the game? Which isn't an unreasonable question, but I knew that it was 1 bag per purchase, and I had previously told him that if he wanted a bag, he should pre-order his own. Well, after the guy said no, he snapped and started getting rude with the guy and saying that it was ridiculous, that we were cheated, and other things, in my opinion, stupid things, in very rude and aggressive tone of voice. I told him that it's not the time or place, and then I pulled him out of the store. Once we got to the car, he got mad at me and told me how embarrassing it was to get pulled out of the store and how I could have just let him handle it man to man. Now he won't talk to me, and every time I try to talk to him, he puts on this high-pitched voice and imitates me, saying, it's not the time for this. I didn't mean to embarrass him, but he was being rude and embarrassing me. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. Your boyfriend was behaving inappropriately, and he's still behaving inappropriately. I mean, he's over here mocking you for trying to de-escalate the situation. I would reevaluate the relationship.
Take the tote and leave the boyfriend.
Exactly.
You know, the thing is that he's mocking OP at this point in time, and that's not a healthy way of handling conflict, right?
No.
And that just shows how childish and immature he is. And the fact that he wanted to physically fight the store clerk because the store clerk was following store policy. I mean, OP did him a favor.
Yeah.
He was going to go to jail that night, right? So I don't know what he's talking about here. And the fact is that, like, this is a Pokemon game, right? I mean, not that, like, people who play Pokemon, or there's anything wrong with them, Amber, right? But, you know, the fact of the matter is that, like, he's acting like he's a big, tough guy, but he's, you know, playing Pokemon. Not that you can't be a big, tough man, but I mean,
you're just digging yourself in deeper.
What I'm saying is you can't be a big, tough man if you play Pokemon.
I
said it.
Too.
I said it. I'm just kidding. I just think that is kind of absurd that he's getting so bent out of shape over a tote bag, right?
Right, well, and like, regardless of what type of game it was, even if it was like a first-person shooter or something, you still shouldn't behave like that.
No, but let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Jiggles the Biggies says, you're dating a child. And Spectre 907 says, surely sufficiently abusing a low-level service worker will enable them to suddenly transcend store policy that they have no say over and must abide by as a condition of employment. And let me guess, he has an uncontrollable temper when he's playing that makes him act like a streamer doing a rage bit for views if it doesn't go his way, except not performatively. And Illustrator Slow 1614 says, not the jerk, he embarrassed himself. I hope you don't give him your tote bag. And Sassy Millie says, came here to say the same thing. Don't even be tempted a little bit. And Electrical Caller 217 says, yep, embarrassing himself and using her as the scapegoat. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Scolding Someone Else's Kid at a Youth Soccer Game? Feeling like a jerk after my daughter's soccer game yesterday. She's 5 and the teams are co-ed. A boy on the other team was overly aggressive. The first time he pushed my daughter to the ground, I let it go. The second time he grabbed her by the shoulders from behind and threw her to the ground. My husband spoke to the coaches. The third time he grabbed the back of her jersey with both hands to pull her back. I lost it. I went to the sideline and I told him, you need to keep your hands to yourself. Soccer is played with your feet, not your hands. Don't touch her. We played in neighboring town, so I didn't know who the parents were to speak to them directly. Well, 10 seconds later, Dad was in my face telling me not to speak to his kid like that. I'm sorry, sir, but if you talked to your son the first or second time that he pushed my daughter to the ground, I wouldn't have had to speak to him. I don't regret standing up for my daughter, but I am feeling like a jerk. I would have been mad if another parent scolded my kid during a game, although another parent wouldn't have had to speak to my kid. If she was deliberately pushing kids to the ground, I would have spoken to her myself. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. It was the responsibility of his dad or, well, of his parents or of the coaches to be taking care of this. What is baffling me is that even after this was reported to the coaches, they weren't keeping a closer eye on him.
Yeah.
This was not okay behavior at all, and he deserved to be called out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really what it boils down to. If he can't play by the rules and if he's actually going to aggressively attack the other kids, then he needs to be taken out of the game, plain and simple, right? And learn how to behave in a sportsman-like way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that OP did anything wrong here. Like, I know that maybe the parent was uncomfortable with this, but they need to get their kid under control. They can't go around doing this to other kids. Like, that kid's going to get an assault report put on him, if he continues to act like this, right? Like, he needs to know that it isn't okay to assault people.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's not going to happen when he's a little kid, but if he doesn't learn that now, then it's going to become a habit as an older kid, and that's eventually going to get him in trouble. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And 802.31337 says, you are not the jerk. And even if you are, oh well. You stand up for family first. Everything else, including jerk status, can go away. And OP replies, thank you. I felt like a jerk, but my daughter needs to know that I have her back. And Death by Chatter says, you're the jerk. That's the ref's job. And if they aren't handling it, deal with them. And OP replies, no refs at this level. Kids are 5. The 2 coaches were made aware after push to the ground number 2. They didn't seem to do anything and the behavior didn't change.
I mean, the absurdity of that comment right there, like, if you see someone being hurt and abused, like, it's your responsibility to step in. It doesn't matter if they're your kid or not.
Yeah. And Kuroko Minio says, not the jerk. This is not you getting involved out of some sort of toxic parental behavior to do with winning the game or whatever. It's you having to step in because no one else was when the boy was getting physical outside the bounds of what the sports allows, and in ways that could have injured your daughter. You already restrained yourself until the behavior came repeated, and it was clear that no officials were stopping it, and the boy's parents weren't either. You don't have to stand by as unsportsmanlike, aggressive behavior that could end up injuring your daughter is repeatedly ignored by all the other adults. Agreed. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Refusing to Take My Niece to Watch a Football Game Even Though I Take My Nephews? Even as writing the title, I feel like a jerk. I am a 22-year-old male, and my sister has 3 kids, a 13-year-old male, a 12-year-old male, and a 9-year-old female. All 3 are really into football, as I am. Their father, my brother-in-law, isn't. So for the past 2 years, every couple of months, I have taken my nephews to watch a game. The club that we support is a few hours away, so normally we stay over. My sister pays for the tickets and mine as a thank you, and I enjoy taking them. Recently, she asked if I would take my niece as well, and I said that I would, but 3 would be hard to manage on my own. That was an excuse. She said that she understood. Well, a few days later, she came up with a plan that I would take 2 at a time. So like after 3 games, they would all have gotten a chance to go twice. I came clean and I said that I would feel weird staying in a hotel room with my young niece. She thought that I was joking at first, and then she was shocked as if I had said something controversial. She kind of sarcastically implied something. What do you even do with a toilet situation in public? Would I take her into the men's bathroom? It's just all very unknown to me. Well, I said that I would take my niece to the game if my sister wants to travel too. My sister can go shopping while I take the 3 to the game. She was unhappy and asked her husband for some backup, and he said to leave him out of it. She made a big deal out of it, saying that I'm sexist, etc. She came back a few days later and said that I won't need to take any of the kids anymore. Am I the jerk for what I suppose is treating my niece differently? All right, folks, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think OP is in the wrong here. I think, first of all, 9-year-olds should be able to go to the bathroom on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, maybe you'll walk with her to the bathroom door.
Yeah.
You don't have to go into the women's restroom, though. You can just let her do her business herself. And it seems strange to me that OP is, like, hung up on these things and isn't trying to look at any compromise. Like, I understand he might be a little uncomfortable here, but she's also 9. She's a child, you know. Get the kids their own separate bed, but like, or maybe find some way that you're not staying over, like, even if it means driving back or like tag teaming with a friend or something. But it does seem unfair that her brothers get to have all these fun adventures while she's left at home because Opie feels weird.
Yeah, I think that this is a little bit off. And I mean, keep in mind that OP is 22. He probably doesn't have a whole lot of life experience. He's taking care of, kids that are only like a decade younger than him at this point in time. And, the thing is that I can understand his discomfort with the situation. But I can also understand why OP's sister is a little upset about the situation because, OP is acting kind of unreasonably here. You know, he's, I do think that, like, he is asking questions that he sincerely doesn't know the answer to. Like, what would I do with my sister? What would I do with her if she needed to use the bathroom, for instance? This is a concern, a legitimate concern that he can have, that he can voice. But, when the mom was like, well, you just need to stand outside the bathroom door, that's how you would approach that situation, right? I mean, I think, like, it's fine for him to have questions. It's fine for him to have concerns and to want to know how to logistically handle this. But it's also unfair if he doesn't at least allow her to come along to these games, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to show favoritism. And I think that's really going to be problematic in the long run. It's going to hurt the relationship between the siblings. So,
Yeah, because she's being denied unfairly for something that's entirely outside of her control.
and as for like what would you do with her? I mean, she's 9, like you were saying, Amber. It's not like she needs a whole lot of additional privacy. And a lot of times you can rent hotel rooms that have 2 beds in them,
Mm-hmm.
or a cot and stuff like that. So I mean, that's really what you can do with this kind of situation. And I think, again, Opie is overthinking this.
Yeah, well, because 9-year-olds are a lot more autonomous than he's giving them credit for. Like, she's old enough that unless she has some sort of disability, she should be able to use the bathroom on her own. If she needs a bath or shower, to do that on her own, to change on her own. There's not Opie's not going to have to be in a situation, generally speaking, where he's going to see her naked or anything like that.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OP's earned. Certified Drama Llama. The Wheel likes that one recently.
The wheel does, but I mean, I think it kind of works here. Opie is making problems out of nothing.
All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Why should you avoid a dinner date with a vampire?
Well, because I really don't want to get eaten by a vampire.
It could be a real pain in the neck.
Ah.
And it's Bad Appreciation Week.
Ooh. So, appreciate the bad in this world, I guess. And I have Mega Mint. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Fantastic Friday, folks. I hope your Friday is off to a fantastic start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on sports.
Sports are not an excuse to abuse other people.
I like it. I think that's a great moral. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.